Hi everyone, Claudia here from Lighting Clarity. This week's message to Spirit is, what do you need to know right now that you can take with confidence moving forward? What do you need to know right now that you can take with confidence moving forward? And we have Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Michael, or Saint Germain. You can decide who has that message for you. For those of you who've chosen Archangel Gabriel, please bear with me while I connect for you. Thank you. Gabriel's making me feel you will accomplish what it is that you set out to accomplish for yourself quietly this year. He says, don't allow any naysayers to deter you. Don't allow any small temporary pauses in action to deter you towards what it is that you want to bring to manifestation this year. He says, we want you with confidence to move into what it is that you want for yourselves this year, as this is something that a potential that will definitely be coming in all of those areas you're hoping for. He says you will find, as you bring to fruition some of those goals, those desires, whatever words you want to use, he says there will be a letting go of something else as a result in each area of your life. So it could be you bring in this, but there'll be a letting go of that. In the next area of your life, you'll be bringing in this, but there'll be a letting go of that. He says this is to do with a shift in your energy, a shift in your tastes, and a shift in your perception as well. As you move forward, what held your attention before will not hold your attention moving on. And it's though the shutters that have been closed, the curtains that have been closed, will be drawn on those situations, will be drawn on that area of your life, and you'll be able to see it from a heightened perspective, from a different perspective. And it's there in which you make a breakthrough, he says, and you'll be moving through any sort of temporary pauses or blockages, whatever words you want to use. He says you'll be able to move through them more easily than you did before. He says this year there'll be more of a confidence born within you, and he takes me to the sacral and to the solar plexus, and he shows me them growing bigger and bigger. He says it's as though once you get moving in one area, that flows into the other areas. There are some decisions you're going to need to make, and it may take you a while on some of those decisions as to what to do, because they are big decisions. However, he says you will make the decision that is right for you. We want you to have confidence in yourself. He says we want you this year to believe in the good that wants to come in for you. We want you to believe this year in what is yours on a positive front. All right, I'm going to thank Gabriel for coming in. Okay, and for those of you who chose Archangel Michael, let's bring Michael in. Thank you. All right, here comes Michael. Just going to make that connection stronger. Bear with me. He says, this is a year where we want you to move with the tide. He says, pay attention to the ebbs and flows. He says, we don't want you to fight against the tide that comes in. We want you to move with it. He says there may be a moment during the year where things will feel, the words he uses is tight, okay? Where you may feel tightness in the body, tenseness in the body, tenseness in life. But he shows me that as you come to the end of the year, I'm just going to get him to bring that back in, or the second half, or the second quarter of the last quarter of the year, hang on. Excuse me. There's a lot of letting go. I never burp, so there's a lot of letting go with each of you. He says, as you come to the end of this year, there will be an outcome that you will have been waiting for, and it will come. He says, I want you to trust your journey. I want you to walk forward in confidence with this year as well. The outcome that will come, it'll be different for each of you. He says one particular outcome will change the game, and you're going to go, okay, so what do I do now? How do I maneuver around this or through this? And this outcome will instigate an opening that you haven't had before, where it's on a heightened level, a heightened timeline. It's a good opening, in other words. And it will be your change factor where you'll move through that opening, and this is on a good front. It's going to change your life for the better. For others, it is an outcome you have been waiting for, and it does go your way. And there is relief with that. For others, this outcome will be a decision you make, and you'll make it on a positive front. You'll be quite happy with the decision you make. That'll be a bit life-changing for you, but you'll be satisfied with your decision, and it's one that needed to be. Michael says, don't be distracted this year by the small things. Don't let yourself go off your path. He said, stay on your roads, keep your eyes on your path, stay focused on what it is that you want for yourself this year. He says, I really want you to feel into what it is that you want this year. Write that down, how it is you want to feel this year. What is that you would like to see this year? He says, write that down, take your energy to those things. He says, what's going to help you win the race, if you like, in inverted commas, is you staying grounded, you staying focused on what you want, and you moving quietly towards those areas and seeing what it is that you can do to bring them about. He says there will be certain areas that will feel less in flow than others to do with life areas. But he says it is something you contracted to work out as well. Work out and work through those problems. And you will do this, he says. There will be relief in those areas where there has been blockages and confusion. It'll be something subtly that begins to resolve in those areas as you move through the year. And as a result, there's a more confident you in your heart center that stands taller as we move towards the close of the year, the second quarter of the last part of the year, almost the second half, moving forwards. He says, have confidence in yourself and in your abilities to problem solve. He says it's going to put you in good stead for what is to come, because that creates that inner confidence, creates those goals you have to manifest. You're about to see how intelligent, emotionally, and how resilient you actually are. That doesn't mean it's going to be a difficult year. No, it does mean there's going to be some blocks you're going to be moving through. And they're ones that have been sitting in those life areas for a while. So you're going to welcome finally being able to sort them out, resolve them, understand them, and move through them. I'm going to thank Michael for coming in. And for those of you who have chosen Saint Germain, let's bring Saint Germain in and see what he wants to tell you. So Saint Germain says, excuse me, the year starts off, shows me gold energy. The year starts off slowly, but on a more positive front than there has been. You'll be feeling a little bit better within yourself. That's what we want to say. You'll be feeling better within yourself. I'm going to keep going. So Saint Germain says, I want you to hold the line as you move through the year. So holding the line means staying grounded, not making things bigger than what they are, and including when something happens, not blowing it out of proportion. It's the same thing. Holding the line and staying grounded and calm as to how you can resolve this. He says there's going to be some outside factors that will affect you. It is not coming from you. It's coming from those people. You're not the problem. They are, in other words, in different regards. They're the ones that will be causing a few waves. He says, hold the line, be focused and grounded, and trust your intuition on what occurs, including in how to handle these people around you. So Saint Germain says, over the course of this year, there's going to be one substantial piece of good news, something that will come to fruition, that will manifest, that you're going to be quite surprised, but happily surprised about. And you say to yourself, I didn't know that was going to happen. That's really great. I'm really pleased. And it's quite a substantial piece that will come in. So Saint Germain says your heart centers are strengthening. And you're going to be quite surprised with what is that you can do this year. So some of you are going to be trying some new things, turning your hands to something new. You're going to be quite surprised with yourself, with what you can do. You're also going to be quite proud of yourself with how you handle certain people in certain situations. Whereas before you would have handled them differently. This time you're going to handle them from a more wisdom perspective, more grounded perspective, and more strength. And there's a strength that will come forward you haven't seen before. A voice will come out of your mouth you haven't heard before, including the tone and the words. You'll be like, oh, okay, really, I put you in your place. Gee, I sorted that out. And it's a part of you that is coming forward this year that's going to give you that confidence and that support. He says, I don't want you to be starstruck by anybody. Includes people like myself, includes anyone around you who perhaps throws around their accolades or whatever this is. He says, we want you to start holding yourself in high regard and standing in that confidence. Because the only person that can move forward with confidence is you. No one else can do it for you. Start being starstruck by the person that you are, by what it is you've accomplished already. And that doesn't mean you have to have degrees or diplomas. That means what is you've moved through, the person that you are, and knowing that. And if you're listening to this, which you are, I'm not going to say if, you are listening to this. So if you're listening to this, he says, be aware that I'm talking to you. I am addressing you, that you have accomplished much already. You have been through a lot and you have handled situations in the best way you could and far better than you were aware of. It is when you go home that you will look back and see exactly what you accomplished, exactly the difference you made in the lives of those around you, and the progress you have made spiritually as well in this lifetime. And that doesn't mean you have to be a spiritual person. I'm not talking about channeling the archangels. That's not what he means, he says. He says, I'm talking about you as a person. Sometimes we expect so much of ourselves and we measure ourselves against the world and doctor this and professor that and master this. And he says it's, in your world you all do this. He says that's nonsense. It's just not needed. Everybody came for a role and everybody's been a master. Everybody's been a professor. Everybody's been a doctor. You've all held different roles over many lifetimes. And this is just one. This is just one. All right, I'm going to thank Saint Germain for coming in. Okay, well, many warm blessings. Happy weekend. I'll see you all again next week. Thanks, everyone.